All right, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome each one of you to the CEO Talk Ahmedabad. This is an initiative by the Talk. My name is Anmol Garg. I'm the founder of a sales training company called Sales 5X, and I will be the moderator for today's session. CEO Talk is a platform that helps sharing ideas and insights to transform organizations to create a better and transparent forum for meaningful business relationships and partnerships. This event is brought to you by Tata Tele Business Services. It's the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solutions for businesses. With services ranging from connectivity, collaboration, cloud, IoT, security, and marketing solutions, Tata Business Services offers the largest portfolio of ICT services for businesses in India. I would now like to welcome our panelists for today's discussion. I know this is a virtual session, but let's give each other a round of applause as I call out the name. I have with me Mr. Hyuma Mahadevia, the Executive Director, Yamir Packaging Private Limited. Mr. Pankaj Naresh, CEO, Phenix Construction Technologies. Mr. Shreyansh Shah, CEO and Director, Lexcru Water Tech Private Limited.
Yes, yeah.
Mr. Devang Modi, Managing Director, iValue Systech Private Limited. We'll also have Mr. Rishabh Sanghvi, Managing Director, Shah Water Technologies, joining us shortly. I now invite Mr. Mannu Sigh, Vice President Operations, West Region, Tata Tele Business Services, to deliver the welcome address.
Yeah, thanks, Anmol, and good afternoon, everyone. I think as we know that the world grapple with the ongoing pandemic and organizations are forced to opt for digital transformation at the workplace, and transforming the workplace experience require a holistic strategy that combine technology, operation, culture, and employee experience. Hence, the agility and flexibility take the central stage in the process of transformation. However, on the key challenge still remains around where to begin, how to unlock the value inside the workplace, technological disruption in the area of artificial intelligence, machine learning, IoT, CRM, cloud adaptation, etc., can enable organizations implement this digital transformation seamlessly. We welcome you all to do big digital. That is CXO talk. This is a networking session with the value theme, digital workplace modernization, rising to the challenge. So looking forward for your diverse thought and making this an enriching and engaging session. Over to you, Anmol.
Thank you, Manu. Thank you for setting the precedent for this talk. We'll now dive into a roundtable. The theme of today's discussion is rising to the challenge with the tech advantage. And I am joined by a very able panel today. Gentlemen, the format of this discussion is very simple. I have two generic questions, which I will get everyone's views on just for about 90 seconds. Then we'll dive into a more detailed perspective sharing where every panelist, I'm going to ask you about a couple of questions and about 4 to 5 minutes each question where you can share your insights. With that, let me get started with my first question, which I'm going to put across to each and every one. How has the pandemic affected your business and your revenues? We've got business leaders across sectors. Would love to go across to find out how has the pandemic affected your business and your revenues. Starting with you, Pankaj.
Okay. First of all, good afternoon, everybody, and a lot of people must be listening also. So, good afternoon to entire community. Yes, this thing came out of blue, so none of us probably were not prepared, and we never anticipated. And my mother is 82, and nobody has seen something like that in her whole lifetime. So we are just experiencing something for the first time, and this kind of disruption has suddenly happened. So it has affected definitely, of course, entire business community, entire business. So if I say that it has affected, it is a cliche sort of thing, but yes, it has In our kind of business, we have been an industry where we are dependent on people doing the setting up buildings, setting of warehouses, setting of infrastructure, those kind of things. So since the overall business perspective got impacted, yes, our things have initially slowed down, but I have seen in a slowly after uh, post May. Post May, we have seen that suddenly people have started floating some inquiries and things are looking up. So that only shows that people are looking at it positively, and going forward, people are anticipating that things will improve, which we have already started seeing in the in the larger perspective. From our industry, we are a traditional manufacturing industry, so it has been impacted because of lockdown means we had to totally shut down our plant. We could not do business for almost 35 days, and then we started in a truncated way after the April when it started. So we are impacted, but yes, we are recovering and we are going forward with that notion. So I think that's the way we look forward.
Sure. Thanks for sharing that, Pankaj. Good to see that the green shoots, you're able to see those, the upswing coming in quickly. Devang, your perspective?
Yeah, thanks first of all for organizing this and having me here. So obviously, the impact was much graver in the initial periods. That was during the first quarter of our financial year, the April, May, June. Since June end, we have seen an uptick which lasted till about end of August, and then there was again a lull, and that lull period actually went on till about Diwali for us in the IT industry. And that was also due to the fact that it was not that the business was not there, it was just that the deliveries were not there. The product deliveries were not happening. There was no consignment coming here from, of course, the manufacturing units across the Eastern Hemisphere. And also, what happened during this period is that because there was such a strong pull, there was such a strong demand in the market, the profitability in the market actually went up. So no longer we were seeing a squeeze on the profit margins just because the customers were anticipating if you have the material, I'll just take it. I don't even want to negotiate because I'm not getting it anywhere. So we have seen that the recovery period has started post Diwali again, and the uh, the the you can say the forecast or the view for the first quarter itself of 2021 is very strong, and we see that if the virus doesn't rebound, the economy will surely rebound.
Sure. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. Hyuma, I'm going to come to you next. Both gentlemen talk about recovery, that they are seeing green shoots, they are seeing the economy back on track. Firstly, of course, how did the pandemic affected your business? And to the other side, are you seeing that H2 of this financial year is going to be much better?
So you're talking this for me?
Yes, Hyuma, that's for you.
So first of all, welcome everyone. And yes, my answer to the pandemic is thank God for this pandemic. And that's what I would say. What we didn't achieve in so many years, apart from that, in terms of my top line, we are about 15% up. We have 3 manufacturing plants. One was completely shut down during the lockdown, and without any increase in capacity, we are 15% up. Added 7 big customers during the lockdown, which where we were trying for almost now 4 5 years we were trying, but because of this pandemic we could grab them, and it has been a smooth ride. And apart from that, what happened was we as a group, the sales team was not going out. Everyone was talking among themselves. There were a lot of Zoom meetings happening. So the vision and the mission of the company actually became, it went down to the lower levels in a much better way. People were more together. Everyone was working toward the same target. And a lot of systems which we wanted to implement, but we always had thought that कैसे करेंगे, क्या करेंगे, ये problem होगा, वो problem होगा, people's mindset are not there. You have all those kind of issues pre-pandemic. But because of this, we were forced to do it, and it just went down so smoothly. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I have nothing to complain. And as far as looking forward, I think specifically in our sector, packaging, the market is up, and a lot of people are eating a lot of food at home, and also taking a lot of supplements. So yeah, the requirement for cartons is going up, so nothing to complain.
Great. Good to see you smiling. Looks like you're having an extended Diwali.
Yeah.
Great. Moving to you, Shreyansh, how has the pandemic affected your business?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. We are into water purification. So water purification, which includes all types of purification, RO, UV, UF, etc., in both industrial and domestic sector. So when we talk about water purification during this pandemic, people have become more alert. They have become more conscious about their health. So the first 2 months, obviously there was lockdowns and nothing would happen. But after that, the product the product got accepted. Okay, and there were two reasons. The reason which we had excelled in our market, the two regions which helped us excel in the market were, the first one is hygiene. People wanted hygiene. People wanted good water. The second region is anti-China, anti-import movement, which came in the pandemic. That was a real winner for us when we talk about pandemic. So I just want to tell you one thing, that we've been trying to push in the market the Make in India theory, whatever you say, the Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, whatever theories which are happening in India, and we've been trying to prove that yes, Indian product is good. And during this pandemic, people got along with that idea. They accepted us, and you will be for us it was, see, if I don't count, if I only say business, we had 200% growth, both top line and bottom line. And when I talk about that, everything, our production used to be from 7:30 in the morning to 9:30 in the evening. But in the pandemic, after March, after May, we had 24 hours of production. So that was a game changer for us. I would still say that that motivated us as well, because we got technical also. We got techno things in our culture. There were, so we are like 10-year-old company, but my father used to own the company. Everybody in my company who take decisions, they are 45 plus. They don't want to change a lot of things, but during this pandemic, people have changed. When initially we used to talk about work at home, they were like, "Aisa sab nahi ho sakta hai." And you will not believe that with we have like in my office, for only accounts and entries and sale purposes, we have got around 45 people working for us. And during pandemic, only 12 were used, and we did the double the turnover. So whatever we realize that we don't use our resources to the fullest, but when we have scarcity of them, we do it. And that is what was was the biggest learning for us in the pandemic. Though I would never want the pandemic to come again, because I've seen a lot of people losing their life, and that is something which I would never want. But when it comes to business perspective, yeah, there was a boom, and that is the boom going on right now.
Right. Shreyansh, I think you've successfully converted those theories of Make in India into practicals. And I think there's a very strong momentum that is gaining ground. And I would love to talk about some of those technology changes. We'll come to that in a bit. Meanwhile, I bring Rishabh into this. Rishabh, how has the pandemic affected your business, your revenues? And second half of this financial year, do you see things are looking good?
Hello everyone, and myself Rishabh Sanghvi. I'll introduce myself. I'm Managing Director of Shah Water Technologies. I know Shreyansh very well. We are from the same field. He's my colleague. Like, we are good friends as well as competitors as well. So yes, pandemic has been a boon for us. I'll say that in a way that the anti-China sentiment which Shreyansh talked is really helped not only just in India but globally. Like we have our set infrastructure in Dubai as well as Singapore. So we have seen that there are people now wanting to have products other than China. You know, they are looking for alternatives, and India has got the biggest opportunity to capture that. So now people have started looking forward to come to India, work with Indian companies. So we have a big chance, and we should grab that. I believe that, and we are working towards that. So pandemic overall for water treatment industry has been really a boon. And simultaneously during pandemic, there was a lot of hygiene product like sanitizers and all, where our products, were been used. So for us, pandemic for in terms of business has been really excellent. We have been fortunate enough to stay alive and also make money out of this pandemic, where people have lose their life as well as not able to make a living. We feel we are the few fortunate ones, or the most luckiest ones, to able to make money as well as to be alive and having this talk right now. So yeah, pandemic has been great so far. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Nice to see you smiling, Rishabh. I guess that call was from a customer.
I'll just mute it.
All right. How many of you think work from home is here to stay? Raise your left hand if you think work from home is here to stay. Right hand if you think we'll go back to offices once the vaccine is out. And a number.
Right.
Give me a number. Okay. So can
Right
we have this again? My screen froze. Okay. So no namastes, no hybrid model. How many of you think it's going to be somewhere between work
Right
from
hand.
home?
Hybrid.
Right hand.
Hybrid. Okay. Most of you are choosing hybrid. Hyuma, you're talking about work from office itself?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Do you feel that's more productive? What's your take on that?
I think what happens is, work from home is also fine, but you really tend to sometimes you tend to get lost into some household issues also while working from home. And when you're office, you have that mindset. It is all about mindset. You are in office, you have left your house behind, you are totally focused on your work, so that helps. Plus, there are colleagues around. A lot of communication is also informal, which goes around in the office, and that really helps.
Sure.
The biggest thing what we missed here, while working from home, was we miss people. We miss those odd chats at the water cooler, or just some understanding chat of some issues which are going on. So all the stuff I think people will miss, and it will be back to square one. I think that's what I feel.
Sure. The whole culture is kind of missing if we are all isolated.
Obviously, for unavoidable circumstances or emergency, work from home is fine, but not on a regular basis. That's what I feel.
Sure. Pankaj, since you're from the manufacturing space, you need the man on the floor. That part can't work from home, right? So I believe you as well as an advocate of working from office.
Yeah, actually, our major business is manufacturing, so we cannot work from home. But there are certain functions which we, based on the social distancing norms and safety protocols, we did some alternate coming and all those things. But now we are almost back to work from office. So yes, I agree with Hyuma that people-to-people contact is very essential during. If you don't see eye to eye, it becomes very difficult to connect most of the time. And on a visual meeting, on a Zoom call, probably that connect is missing actually.
Right. It's interesting. Left side of my screen is voting for work from office. Right side is towards Shreyansh. You wanted to add something?
So what we have realized is in our company, my office is 45 kilometers away from home. Okay, so when we talk about work, we work for 8 hours or 10 hours, whatever it is. Okay, so what I think is, if you have a manufacturing unit, your laborers, the support staff, they will have to go for to the factory. But the account staff, they don't need to go anywhere. That is what we have believed. And my office or my sales team also don't have to go anywhere. So what we have realized is 45 kilometers every day to and fro is like 90 kilometers. In Ahmedabad, if you take any of the route, it will take like 1.5 hours to go there and 1.5 hours to come back. 3 hours. So if 3 hours we can save, even they want to do any sort of family work, even they want to sleep. I told my employees, sleep for 2 hours, bro. After lunch, just sleep. Okay, and then get back to work at 4 o'clock. And I told you at we had 45 people in the working as an accountant here. We only used 12 to 13 people. Rest all just were we did not use them. So what we have realized is time in today's traffic is the biggest key when we talk about work from home.
Sure. If you have a vacancy in your organization, let me know. 2 hours sleep post lunch is a very strong proposition. But yeah, I think we've come at a consensus that a lot of functions can be done work from home. Typically, this is the era of Zoom selling, accounts, marketing. A lot of functions can actually work from home. Moving to the next part of the discussion, where I would like to get more insights on certain topics. Devang, I will pull you into this. What are your views on the current technology adoption by Indian organizations, including the SMEs, to drive business operations and growth?
Well, what we have observed and what we have been reading and what we've been analyzing in the market is, and you would be hearing it more often than not now, is that the COVID was like a injection to the digital transformation in every organization, whether it is small, medium, large. Every organization is going to look at it in a much more deeper manner than it was ever even thought of. And we have seen it happening in the larger enterprise segments almost 5-6 years back. It started the journey for them. However, in the small and medium business and the medium enterprise segment, COVID has been like as I said, a booster dose. The work from home uh, thing is actually going to be divided. The world is going to be divided between people who will continue to go to office or manufacturing plants, and there will be people who will still continue to be working from home. Because one thing that COVID has actually made us all realize is that work is possible from home with restrictions or with limitations, keeping the family times in mind, but it is still possible, and productivity can still be brought to maybe around 75-80%. And as Shreyansh said, if you are taking a nap for 2 hours, it's okay, because we all know that power naps actually help you come back better to the work. So look at Wipro just announced yesterday that they are continuing work from home till 2021. Even Google's and the Facebooks of the world have already said, indefinite work from home is okay for them. So as per the requirements of the industry, the world is going to be divided. As far as the adoption of technology is concerned, digital transformation is going to be the keyword, the buzzword going into 2021. And you will see that there are brilliant solutions which are coming out from this pandemic period only, which have helped organizations adopt technology faster. A lot of us in the SMB space, including us, we've been kind of bound by certain products that we've been using for the last 15-20 years. Tele, for one example, is like a lockdown for organizations to even think about going to cloud or think about digital transformation, because you're stuck onto that one client server technology. And so transformative tools like Zoho Books or Intuit, Quicken, these are actually accelerating in the SMB market, because a lot of our customers realize that if I don't have accounts in front of me wherever I am in the world, it really doesn't help me even if I'm using the best product in India, which is Tele. So that is going to actually be something that is we are going to see more and more. And we have obviously seen a lot of organizations forthcoming and saying that, hey, we've used this for 20 years. We don't see this is going forward for us. So let's start looking at changing.
Sure, there's a dramatic shift. Rishabh, what are your views on technology adoption? As Devang was saying, there's a lot of push to move to cloud-based solutions, try out new things. As Shreyansh was also saying, this old school does not work. We need to move and adapt.
See, first thing, for me personally, I believe that work from home, when we're talking about the 10% of the manpower what we use is for them. But 90% of the economy or factories or industries or for the growth is more of the labor which can never be work from home. So for me, when we talk about the major part of the industry or an economy, is more about the people, those who are on field, on floor, and those who are really working. So yes, work from home for the management side is possible, which it can it has to be on floor thing. So I believe that eventually when things gets better, everything like the 10% of these lot what he say, they will also be like back to office thing. So for technology adoption, it has really helped us a lot. Like before we had this traditional for us, like we had to go to clients, meet them, travel and all. But now most of the meetings are over Zoom or anything. So it's like technology have really helped to business. We have realized that before we used to say travel is important for business. You need to go meet clients, see them, show your products or whatever. The traditional way was always like this. So, but now when we say, even today, our clients in Philippines or in Singapore, anywhere, now everything is on Zoom. So we show them the products, everything. So technology has really brought the world closer and help us to realize and adopt that and believe that, yeah, we can cut down a lot of costs for sure. And we can and even run our business continuously with the adoption of different technologies for sure. Yes.
Great, great. I think there's a common joke which goes around, what has brought about a technology, digital transformation in your company, and three options: there's CTO, CEO, and COVID. And it's COVID, which is just what we couldn't do possibly. What would have done in 5-6 years is now happened in 5 to 6 months thanks to COVID. Pankaj, I'll come to you next. Do you think COVID has become a catalyst to create sustainable business continuity plans and the demand for cloud-enabled disaster recovery services, especially for Indian businesses?
Yeah, okay. So COVID has definitely been a catalyst. First of all, I would just like to address a little bit on the technology front, which have been both Shreyansh and Rishabh have just shared. That yes, it is a radical change basically, and what you mentioned earlier, it has taken what would have taken years has happened in a few months, and the mindsets have changed, and people have started adopting. So now, looking at that, it has become much and more important that we employ technology in our business. And now looking from the business continuity plan, yes, it is when it just struck, actually we started making some continuity plans. How do we, so, but there was no visibility. So we were making for 3 months and then 6 months and probably 1 year, how we are going. So we made short-term plans, long-term plans, those kind of things we have been working on this. And, but putting up those plans and preparing in advance probably put that mindset in frame so we could adopt to that changing world. There is a word which frequently used like VUCA, and this is what is actually happening right now. This volatile, complex. VUCA is volatile, complex, and
uncertain,
ambiguous, and uncertain. So all those things we have started seeing, and we have handled them as we went along. So it has been a very good learning experience, I would say, because though we were not prepared for that kind of thing, but when we came around together as a team along with my team, people responded to those changes very clearly, and then we were able to come out of that. So those business continuity plan and putting up those disaster management plans are extremely important in the future, because we now know there could some other disruption may come, which we may not be prepared right now. So we have to just keep on ourselves prepared. And regarding your question, cloud enabled, yes, it is very important. We have also started implementing. Historically, we have not been a very technology savvy company, but now we have started multiple softwares. We are using those for our SAP, CRM, all those kind of things. And we are preferring to go on a cloud-based system so that, yes, we can remain safe. We can do this business on a continuous basis without getting any disruption. So those kind of things are happening. Technology has enabled us, like we are doing shop for inspection also with the clients without any physical visits. People sitting in Japan are doing inspections through the technology. So all those things have enabled us to perform better. So I guess that says about, is that okay?
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. Mannu, do you think this trend is here to stay, or this is just a fad? Abhi log kar rahe hain, there is the momentum and the hype and everything, but once things go back to normal, which eventually will happen, ye sab chala jayega.
No, so I think the way even other panelists they talk about it, because COVID has changed the so many things. And at least in Pune, I have seen there were company in terms of infrastructure, they were having very good setup. And finally, they come up to us and they're asking for the data center and cloud services. And we said like just for a curiosity that we asked that why it is happening. And they said like now we have decided because we have our own advantage while people they are working from home in terms of productivity, in terms of performance, and everything is getting managed, and that is the voice of the customers. And we feel that if we are going to be on cloud and we are going to be in data center, first thing is that we can access from anywhere. Second thing is that a security part is also going to be taken care of. So what I'm trying to convey the message, all these technologies, it was here. But unfortunately, we were not going for that because of our own mindset. And the COVID is the one that who has created this situation. Now we have to think differently, like the way that it is. And rightly said by even Pankaj also, because of the COVID, now our thought process is very different. Tomorrow something else will come, right? And now my and services, and they know the technology very well, and they can manage this end to end. And wherein that I think now that we are playing the critical role for the B2B business, wherein they are saying please take care of this part, let us concentrate on the core competency. And uh, Anmol, one more thing, we are talking about the cloud and data center and even the cloud telephony since long time. While we are sitting here, this earlier we used to do this talk, uh, I think physically, and we need to create a lot of stuff for that, right? You could have traveled to Ahmedabad, or I could have also traveled to Ahmedabad, and all of us that we could have discussed. Now it is happening virtually. The kind of time, the kind of productivity, and everything that even money also we are saving out of that. So what I'm trying to say this like, as and when that we are having intervene from the technology side, it is going to make a lot of impact on our business. And earlier also it was there, but somehow we were not taking call. But now I think all the B2B organizations, they have decided now we have to go ahead and do this. This is the right time. Even I will just talk about yesterday, I was having the interactions with the cooperative banks. And the cooperative banks, we always used to push, even though RBI always used to push cooperative bank, please do something digitally. Please have the technology partners. Please adopt even toll free or even then take the data center and cloud services. They were not doing it. Now they are approaching. And hence, I think a couple of speakers, they talked about like the kind of requirement which all of us that we are getting in terms of technology, because things are changing. They want that they have to be competitive. If we are not going to shift the gear now, what will happen? We are going to be irrelevant for our businesses, because the others, they are going to take ace on that.
Absolutely. As Manu was saying, you better change now. It's not survival of the fittest; it's survival of the quickest. How fast, how quick can you adapt to the new technology trends? Huma, my next question to you is: we've all been talking about technology, 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 but what are some of the key challenges which Indian organizations and SMBs face when it comes to jumping on this digital transformation bandwagon? And if you can split it across technology selection, implementation, and cultural changes. If you can, have your inputs around these three parameters, that'll be great.
Yeah. So as far as I think the biggest problem is what happens with most of the SMBs is there are two systems going on in an organization. One which works as per the SOPs, as per the flowcharts, and the other one is what the boss said. So in companies like this, that is where you really face real challenges while implementing any kind of system, because any kind of system you put any kind of it could be an ERP or even cloud based, and when you have people working in the same office, it's much easier. But the moment when people are working from home and then you have two different systems, one is a formal, one is informal, that is the biggest problem with for implementing any technology into the system, because technology will understand simple flowcharts.
Right.
So that is one. Second is which I feel is selection of technology. I mean, big organizations have dedicated people there who do have possess that proper knowledge, what to do, what not to do. But with SMB, it's mostly either the owner or just one person taking that decision, and that person is not mostly tech savvy enough for that. So that becomes, so wrong selection of technology would be a second deterrent in this case. The third case I feel is employees not willing to upgrade, not facing problems with, I mean, work from home, everyone would have had the senior employees facing problems. Even on Zoom calls, you do see. So, I mean, such a simple platform like Zoom, even there people have problems. So that is the one area. And the fourth most difficult thing while selection is the cost versus scalability. I mean, everyone would want a ERP system, and when it comes to ERP, I mean, the first thing which comes into the mind is SAP. SAP would have the scalability, but where will the cost go? So I think these are the four key areas which I feel that they are the real deterrent for implementation of technology from various angles.
Sure. These are bridges that we have to cross if we want to, be part of the technology plan. I'm sure Mannu has his answers ready for the capex that you're talking about. I'll come to him in a bit. Shreyansh, if you can throw more light in terms of SMBs, having challenges with the digital transformation.
Yeah, sure. When we talk about all the three aspects, there is technology selection, there is implementation, and cultural changes. I will just come up with an example which we had only faced. Initially, we were into Tally. We have 22 branches all over India and abroad. And in March, we have to do the accountancy and we have to make the balance sheets for everybody. We also have to monitor the inward and outward flow of the goods, and that is the biggest reason we used to have individual tallies in all the branches. What we faced, the biggest problem we faced initially was when we choose Tally, we had only one problem. The problem was every time when we used to finalize the balance sheet, one or two accountant used to go to each and every branch. Okay, so the process starts after March, which used to end in May. That was a big process because 22 branches. So if we count 2 days a branch, that also makes 60 days for us. Which we reduce. So then we came up and we were like, okay, let us upgrade the technology. So at that particular time, we had this question of technology selection, and we were like, what to go for? Uh, because of lack of technology, because of lack of knowledge in India about these kind of things, we upgraded Tally. Okay, and we made it cloud. We had a virtual cloud for Tally, and we started that thing. But we did not realize that we also have 40,000 products made every day. Okay, those tracking was not possible with Tally, and still we knew this problem, but we still went through with Tally for at least 2 years. And after, in this pandemic, we realized, dude, if the production goes higher, let's say 5 times, Tally cannot handle it. So we came up with ERP. This ERP was supposed to come 2 years back, but it did not come because there is a tendency in each and every SMB company that कम खर्चा होना चाहिए. Okay, so if we do not require that thing, we should not do it. But they exactly don't know what is required to them. Okay, and today in one click, in this pandemic, we also launched our app just to monitor my customers. I've got 25,000 customers. I can manage through my app. Okay, and that is something which when we select the technology, we only think about the easiest option. Okay, supposedly we will not see future, we will see the current problems. And current problems, when we see, the technological selection is the biggest issue. When you want to upgrade and you want to upgrade the technology, you don't have to see only the current problems, you also have to see the future and the future vision of your company, so that everything goes smooth in the next 10 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years. Okay, when it comes to implementation was the challenges which we face in India is India was always known for implementation and cultural changes. I will be saying it together because India was always known for its business. India is a land of business. Sabko business karna aata hai. They know how to do business. Okay, but if I had to say my father that Papa, you just have to change this thing, You don't have to wake up at 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning and come to office at 9 o'clock. You have to come at 12 o'clock. Okay. In the morning, you will get a report. Okay. Report by an assistant of yours. Okay. Can you see it? He will not trust him. He will be like, no, I will check the report. I will be the one who will take everything in my hand. And that is the reason implementation is the biggest problem, because each and every new technology like ERP, SAP, they need a lot of manpower as well. They, 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 they will free the boss. They will free the decision-making authorities. They will only give them reports. And the decision-making authority. So for example, in our company, we have got one person who handle the accounts, the money, the money part. The money part, you don't have to put it in your pocket. It is in your bank. Okay. No transaction can be done without an OTP through me. Okay. Then why do you need to monitor that every day? But he still does it. Okay. That person, he earns 55 lakhs in my company. Okay. But he will still monitor it. So when we implement the ERP here, he became jobless. He was like, "Abhe mare so karu? What am I supposed to do now?" Okay. Then you get a lot of people out of the working authorities, and then you get a lot of issues which happens in implementation. In cultural changes, if you have a good if people are you if it's an old company of 20-25 year old, people will not want to change, because every morning they come up, they will do this, they have 2 o'clock, they will have lunch, then they will do this, and then suddenly you change and you will say all your work will be done in 2 hours. Next 8 hours I will give you new work. Okay. Then the employee will be like, oh, I have to do some other work as well. And he will not realize this thing, that his work was cut short by us only, the technology only. He will be like, मेरा काम 2 घंटे में हो चुका है, तो मैं और क्यों काम लूं? So those challenges, those cultural challenges happens in a country where the education level does not allow a lot of technology. See, I have a nephew in my house. So he is more technic. He handles Zoom better than me. Okay. So the new generation, India is like 10 years, I will say, I will not say backward, but they are resistant to technology when it comes to new changes, because they have leaded. They have been number one since the last 500 years. They have done a lot of business with their own technology, with their own techniques. If they want something to be changed, people will not do it that easily. That is the biggest problem we face.
But I think
Hello.
I don't see.
No. Anmol, Satish here. Anmol
Yeah.
is going to join in a minute. Meanwhile, I
Right.
have I want Mr. Mannu Singh to just answer this. Mr. Mannu, I mean, we would like to know your what you call feedback on how SMBs should select their technology. I mean, when it comes to implementation of their technology, what do you will suggest that, how they should, approach towards their finding the right technology for them? Do you have anything to say about it?
Yeah.
Please.
So before that, what Shreyansh has said, I'm going to make little value to this, because Shreyansh, you talked about your family business. Even in corporate world, what happened, the people they are sitting on top, they always have their DOS, right? And as and when that we are going to use the technology, they miss their DOS, because who is going to approve? Things are going to even work smoothly, right? Everything is going to be automated, and therefore then I think we get the challenge. So this is something which is for the adoption of technologies. Now what I'm going to talk about, because the way all the panelists, they talked about what is the challenge, and one thing which we curb out is the culture is the one part, and second is the kind of even capex and opex involved on that part. So we are in this business. I think we are managing, we are the leading service provider, and since last 15 years that we are running this. So what we have assumed that the most of SMEs, so I'm not going on a vertical wise, but as and when once we decided to start any office, that we know we have to invest at least minimum 1 lakh to 2 lakh rupees in terms of the capex part, to ensure that the office should be equipped with the basic needs of the technology. Either it is the internet lease line, or the Wi-Fi, or even PRI and SIP and toll free, whatever kind of services that we are looking for. Even some kind of even apps, application and services also. And finally, we decided like this is going to be always a big hiccups for the SMEs that they need to invest that kind of money. And I'm very happy to share with all of you, we have done an innovation which is called Smart Office. There is a one small dabba which we have developed. And the good part is that we are not charging for this. It is basis the OPEX part. It is going to come on a monthly charges. And once you are going to take this smart office, you will have the internet lease line, you will have voice services, you can call the customers from there. Then you will have the Wi-Fi, application and services, security services, toll-free ACS, everything is going to be there. And for that you don't have need to incur any kind of capex. So what the adaptation of technology, we talked about the culture any which way. Now the new generation who is coming, who is pushing this very hard. There is a capex and opex part as a technology service provider that we are taking care of it. And this is how the technology is going to change everything. Because for the SMEs, we know if we are starting 24 offices, we can't invest 50 lakh rupees only to start a office. So, yes, Satish, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Devang, I have a question to you. So how this new technologies like AI, ML, all is going to be implemented or used by SMBs? How do you think that how important or how relevant to SMBs? Do you think can we have your say on it?
Well, I think these are emerging technologies, and especially for manufacturing. So it's going to be very sector specific. You in a way, everybody who is using a mobile phone today, which is a smartphone today, is somewhere or the other an AI consumer. But from the sector specific perspective, manufacturing sector, research, these are these specific sectors which will definitely have much more relevance of AI and ML. And what IoT is going to do is obviously make the entire manufacturing industry as well as the logistics industry enabled with point in time information. What IoT brings is point in time information and point in time views. I mean, like, so for example, if Shreyansh or Hyuma is sending a truck full of material, they would like to know where exactly, how much time it is taking, what's the average speed, whether there has been a break which is beyond the calculated hours for the driver. And all of that information basically comes into a database, and then the analytics runs and gives you certain information that, okay, maybe on this particular route, the traffic is very heavy, so which is why the trucks are taking longer. On this particular route, the drivers are probably spending a lot more time taking a break, and that helps you in increasing, bettering your efficiency, productivity by bringing in the certain required changes. So obviously, it is going to be relevant. How much relevant to the SMB sector? I think time will tell. It's just too early days for us to kind of get too optimistic about AI ML in the SMB segment. However, with large telco providers like what Mannu is representing here today, they are bringing a lot of such stuff. I mean, like, so AI on a SMB platform, the simplest example is a chatbot on your website. If you have a website and if you put a chatbot there, and your customers can actually come there and probably inquire about your products or your services just by interacting with a chatbot, that's the simplest example of AI in SMB. And small incremental improvements in your line of business are required, and which is going to be done by probably every SMB looking to advance their workflows and effective productivity.
Thank you. Thank you. Shreyansh, the biggest challenge among the SMBs is how, I mean, to what extent, like still SMBs have a big dilemma. To what extent that, we should, get into, exploring technology. Say some people say that, it is just using some basic CRMs is what the technology is all about. But still there is a big dilemma. So can you throw some light on it, Shreyansh?
I just want to say that when we talk about technology, it's not always IT. Okay, there are a lot of technology. IT is for management. It's for it is one portion of the technology. The other portion is technological advancement in manufacturing. Okay, so when I talk about that perspective, okay, when we want that the SMBs in India grow, we will want both the aspect to be, in aligned way. Okay, like what I say when we talk about our organization, again I will say that. So when we talk about membrane, there was a product called membrane. There were 50 odd people. We had unit both in India and China. Okay, India, the machine was all manual. Okay, there were employee working for it. Okay, there was no digital locking over it. You cannot put digital signatures. Who made the membrane? How was the membrane? And there was nothing like that. It was just a manual table. Okay, in China we had a much more advanced technological machinery. Both had one person who were running it. Okay, the production capacity in India was 25 to 30%, and in China was 100%. So that is what happens if you don't change yourself to technology. This is the right time for Indians to change the technology, because everybody in the world are looking at India. Okay, see, when we talk about the recession in India, when we talk about the downward trends of the economy in India, what is the key to Indian success is the consumption of India is huge. We have 1.3 billion people in India. Okay, so if Indian companies come up with better technologies, just change their style of working, we can beat anybody. Okay, and that is what we have realized in when we talk about our company. The import, when used to come from China or any other countries, used to carry 75 to 80% of the total global sale of India. Right now I can say,
I think it is the best time to invest into that. Apart from work going on cloud and your ERPs and all that, apart from that, even on your product, it's time to upgrade there also.
Sure. Pankaj, do you echo that sentiment that this is the best time for organizations, to adopt such technologies, so that it's going to bring in these global best practices, which, number one, there's cost implication, operational efficiency goes up. Pankaj, you're on mute.
I guess first I would like to say I totally agree with Hyuma when he says that we are already behind. It was supposed to be yesterday. And then clubbing with the first, what we were talking earlier, this COVID has been a catalyst. So now it has actually shown us that, yes, if you don't, it is now a matter of survival sort of. So if you don't make yourself lean, thin, efficient, using technology, probably going forward, the game is going to be very risky and in fact suicidal, I would say. So that is something essential, and yes, it is very important that we start. And there are technologies, if you travel across the world, there are SMEs in Europe, in US, who are using a lot of technologies which we can adopt and make ourselves efficient. And there may be many things which are not very costly also. So we have to actually, we can do the right kind of technology selection and network properly. It can actually help very well. And obviously, it makes sense because going forward, we have to train our people. We have to train our people on the new technologies so that more and more new people who are coming into the workforce, younger guys, they are much more their inclination towards technology is much, much higher. So I think it is going forward, it is going to be important that we adopt to the technology and we utilize it to the full extent so that we can actually become globally competitive. Even if we think of I would not say like replacing or making a replacement for China or somebody, but at least making a progress towards a place where we can capture a major global market share at least.
Absolutely. I think that's a to-do if we really want to capture that market share. Thanks for sharing that. Rishabh, as Hyuma was saying, the best time was yesterday, but the second best time is today. And if Indian organizations are still in two minds whether this is something that they want to do, whether technology adoption is needed, do you think it's too late if they don't even do it now?
Definitely late, but it's never late. We say that, it's to adopt something good, it's never too late for that. I've been working with the Chinese, Korean companies for last 15 years. And when people ask me why China is ahead of us, where their labor is more expensive, their land cost is more expensive, their power cost is expensive, everything is expensive in India, then why still they are ahead and catering the whole world? The only difference is technology. In India, we have this big issue of capex. The initial investment behind the technology, we as a SMEs, we really think that kitna kam investment ho sake, or we try to cut down. But the difference in China is they'll make a capacity to the fullest, and then they will go to search the market. But in India, we'll say that okay, this is the market we have. Let's invest for that much of technology. But that's one of the major difference where we have seen, where I have monitored that. Why? Because if I see my industry, I've seen people, those who have a market share, let's say 10%, but they will go for a capacity of 100%. They'll have that kind of setup, and then they will create a market to, for their 100% capacity. So technology is very important, because human can make errors, but good machinery, good technology will never. They will never have, how to say, they will never have an excuse to complain that this has not happened, but human will always have with excuses or to blame someone. So a great technology is much important. We India definitely lack on that, and we as manufacturers, we should adopt to the best case of the technology so that we can cater the world. It's nothing that India is nothing impossible for India. We have the maximum availability of labor to power, everything is here. And the land cost, investment cost, everything is much cheaper than the global. If you see Korea, if you go to Taiwan, super expensive. Go to China now, China cost of production have gone higher. Plus we have advantage of foreign weaker Indian rupee as well, where we have advantage in export as well. So we have all the positive. The only thing what we lack is technology, which we are not adopting what they do. So if we adopt it now, definitely it will help us. And with the benefit of anti-China thing, definitely this is like with a good technology, good products, and we can definitely capture the market globally, not just India. Yes.
Right, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the mindset is perhaps missing as well. It's more of jugaad, abhi kaam chala lo, and then we will see later.
India mostly look for jugads. Most of the people, kahin se kahin jugaad ho jaye. वो वाला जो देसी word है. Basically, we try to search for cheaper alternatives, and this is one of the issues where me knowing the global market, knowing that even I would admit that even I would try to cut down my costs in some way. कुछ जुगाड़ हो जाए इधर उधर से. So it's something like this, and IT technology, ERPs and all, this SAPs, they all are huge investments when you go for that. But yeah, it's very important. If you adapt to it, eventually on the long run, it will definitely help an organization grow and get more organized and grow a company in a more organized manner. Yeah.
Right. So jugaad is a double-edged sword. I love what Hyuma wrote to me in private chat. Hyuma, you wanna say it out?
You can go ahead.
Yeah. So Hyuma says it's never too late. If you think it's never too late to adopt technology, well, it's never too late if you're alive. But the question is, how long will you be alive without upgrade? Right. Yes. And I think it's a key point. And whoever is watching this, I think that's a question which will really take you to thought-provoking question. How long will you be alive, till such time you make that upgrade? I'm sure Mannu, capex is not really a challenge at this point of time. What's your take, or if you've already answered that question?
Yeah, I think you are not there. I talked about, and I've just, because most of the SMEs they are finding this problem, and as a leading operator, we have decided that we are going to help SMEs on that. So initially, they don't have incurred too much of cost. It is going to be always OPEX based, and as I said to speakers and even panelists also, like once you start the office, that you have to invest in a tune of more than 2 lakh rupees per office, and that is something now which we are taking care of, and we will have the end-to-end services. I would also like to add what Mr. Huma and then followed by Mr. Devang, Pankaj, and Rishabh they talked about. Frankly, this is the right time. If we are not going to adopt this technology now, I think we are going to be irrelevant for the business. And post lockdown, we have seen that every organization has started working from home, and even they have started finding the possibilities how they can ensure that their employees going to be connected, and they have created even IPsec tunnel, P2B tunnel, SSL tunnel, all this that they have done that. And while Mr. Devang has also even highlighted this, the voice board and chat board is something which is now very much popular. We are getting a lot of demand for this because, and as I said, these products were even with us since long time, but I think we were not getting demand from the outside. But because of this pandemic, now customers, they have started asking for it. And I think this is something which is booming big time. If I talk about the many of the industries are using, digital payment, even for the grocery shop also, that we get this. Industries are now giving importance to hygiene factor, adopting technology. Like I'll just pass this example. Hospitals are started using robots to serve the medicine and food to COVID patient. I think this is something which is very, very unique. Even there are robots to uh, they are even sanitizing the employees also. Even for the sales guys, you will go there and you will see that they have the monologue and they are talking about the what kind of product and services they are having. All these things are going to even bounce back big time. So frankly, organizations are, I think they are focusing to reduce their infrastructure costs, and they are adopting even cloud, even hosted solution, or even SaaS. And company are using even, let's talk about most of the companies now, they are using remote attendance system. So all these things earlier it was there, but we were never using it actually. And
Right.
this is the right time. As per me, it's the right time that we have to go out and make it big.
Absolutely. Shreyansh, you had something to add with respect to CapEx?
Yeah, with respect to capex, I just want to say when we talk about China or any other countries, there was a problem initially about the finance. Which, so when we talk about Indian companies investing in the technology, there was a lot of fund involved. Okay, and we don't have that much fund, but that same condition is there with the Chinese people. But the government there, with the banks, the rate of interest was too low. In India, the rate of interest used to be very high. Okay, now it is coming down, and as much as this goes down, the risk-taking capacity of the people will go up. And when that goes up, you will see better product, better technology in India as well.
Sure. I think the finance ministers also promised that next year's budget is going to be something we've not seen in the last 100 years. So let's see what's in store for us in the next few months. Shreyansh, I must admit you have the head of a 40-year-old CEO. The kind of observations. Thank you for sharing that. Devang, you had something to share?
Just wanted to add on this capex opex discussion is the fact that we have seen in the last couple of years, or maybe even going to 5 years period, that the sentiment of every customer in terms of investment is much more open in the opex format. And we have also seen a lot of leasing organizations or leasing companies, starting with IBM Global Finance or NHPFS, or you can see Rent Alpha. These are organizations who have come up with leasing for all kinds of technology products. And it's not just technology, it could be even to software, it could be even to typical things like furniture. So let's say if somebody is setting up a 10,000 square feet office and they want everything to be on a leased basis or an opex basis, it is now possible. So the overall mindset towards adopting, and probably this has come in just because today everything that we have or we enjoy is in the form of EMIs, right? So your Netflix is in EMIs, your SMS or data bill is in EMIs, and so is your car, or so is your home. So we have understood the fact that if large capex is broken down into opex over a spread over 3 or 5 years period, it can definitely be accommodated in the balance sheet.
I love the way you put it. If technology was as simple as a Netflix subscription, where every month you're just paying for what you use, for what you watch, I think it's going to go a long way in helping us adapt to it. Thank you for sharing that, Devang. One quick parting shot from each one of you. One advice to SMBs, with respect to technology adoption. If they're somewhere on hanging there, what to do, what not to do, what would you tell them? A one-liner. Starting with you, Shreyansh.
Yeah, thank you. It was a nice conversation with all of you guys. Okay, so when we talk about one thing SMEs have to take care for the next 10 years, 15 years, is try for the best. Try for the best technologies that you can get it for India and your company, because the future will not the future will come when you will have to cater the world. And when you have to cater the world, when you have to cater Europe, you have to cater USA, everybody wants good technology, good products, okay, and services. So when I say that last 5 years were for India, okay, the next 10 to 15 years, India is going to go throughout the world. So for that, get the best of the best technologies, and be patient. In India, we don't be patient. We say, so when I talk about, I just want to add, I'll just take 5-10 seconds more. Okay, when I talk about, there is a company called AO Smith. Okay, so I was getting in touch with them, and they were like, in how many years do you get out your money, the capital from your from your company? And I said, we do it in 1 or 2 years, and we cannot. And if it goes beyond 3 years, we stop the work, because 3 saal ke baad, if I get the money back, I don't need to work in this company. Okay, and he told me that we get the return in 7 to 8 years. Okay, and I said, how can you be so patient? He said, we do that purposely for till 7 to 8 years, and after 7 to 8 years, there is no stopping for AO Smith or any of the big companies in that particular country. So for India, we have to be patient with the good technology and start serving better and best to the world. That is what I feel.
Right. I like the mix of those keywords, patience and technology, for it to have the ROI. Even if you put 9 men onto the job, you can't make a baby in 1 month. And I think that's how you need to look at technology. Rishabh, your perspective, your advice to SMBs?
Like Shreyansh said, be patient. Yes, for sure. My saying is like, be quick, be fast, and that only is possible with technology. If you're not quick and fast in this 2020 era, will be left behind. And if you're left behind, it's and technology help you because people want new things. Like as we say, if you keep running the traditional way of business, you can see the history. Kodak is out of business, or you can say BlackBerry or Nokia. They're all out of business. The only reason is what? Because they were not ready to adapt to the new technologies or the new things. Like test matches are now like history. Now everyone want 2020. Like people want TikTok and people want reels. They don't have patience, right? So now we have to be quick. We have to be ready to accept the changes. We have to accept if something we failed, and we should be ready to adopt to new technologies to to be the part of the game, or else you'll be left behind. So most important is to be very quick, very fast, and stay connected with what the world is doing, and respect something. If your competitor have success doing some new things, respect that, learn from them, and try to adopt it and make a change for yourself. So this is my advice to them. Yeah.
Sure. Fail fast and quick so that you know what works. Great. Hyuma?
I would like to say it in a different way. I think, for all your stakeholders, let's say if you're taking something to improve your machine, some technology you are upgrading for your machine, get all your key stakeholders with that technology to be aligned in terms of vision, in terms of purpose, and in terms of the deliverables from that, and then implement that technology. Only then that technology will be a success. Otherwise, you will be fighting among each other, and then you won't be able to take out the juice of the technology. Then it will be again one more jugaad added to the system. That's my take on it.
So everyone needs to be on the same page, वरना blame game शुरू हो गया था, इसने वो खरीदा, वो खरीदा.
And then it just goes haywire. So
Right.
First get your vision corrected, be on the same page, and then invest, I would say.
Great. So you got to sell that vision of the technology adoption to all your stakeholders. Great point. Pankaj?
I would like to add it in two parts basically. One is related with the people front, what he was mentioning, and one is related with the technology. So I would say that technology, when we are selecting a technology now, we should be actually looking ahead for the future sake. If we select only the technology from the cost perspective or availability perspective, sometimes we make something, maybe it may take a little longer, but if it is future ready and it can sustain in the long run, that is something which we have to do. Probably we need to spend some time on planning, we need to do some research, but we should take that time and then implement it so that it can be future ready and scalable. It should not be that we adopt something and then we get stuck after some time, and then we have to change to a new technology if we have to prepare ourselves for a higher scale, because scale is something which we have always been mostly lacking. We probably we don't have that global scalability mindset where we create things from global perspective. So that somehow has been a little bit of lack in our this thing. And on the people front, yes, when we are adopting and technology, we have to align the people along with that change, and we have to take people along so that yes, they know that this kind of changes have come and how this will impact them in their working, probably their careers, their future also. So if we can assure them and make them more comfortable, I think then probably both things may go hand in hand.
Right. So we've got to do our due diligence before we take a call on what we're trying to do here, because the long-term implications. If you have any confusion with regard to what to do, I'm sure Mannu is ready for a quick 10-15 minute call. He's going to help you with that. Devang, from your perspective, one advice you want to give SMBs?
I think the one thing that we all need to understand is that this is the new normal. This is not going to be the normal that we lived probably in February 20, sorry. So we need to adapt to the change, not resist it. We have to be prepared for what can propel us further by what we have endured during these last 10 months. And that is the most important aspect of business is flexibility. You need to be flexible with the changes that are happening. You need to be adaptable to what is in front of you. I mean, like one thing I can tell you for sure is what probably none of us will disagree is the fact that one big ceremony of business closure, which used to always take time, was the negotiation. And today the negotiation ceremony has actually reduced. You know, the time taken to negotiate a deal has actually come down because now you're no longer sitting in front of a person. You're probably on a Zoom call. You tell the customer, I'm coming to your office to negotiate. He'll say, no, it's fine. We'll do it on Zoom. And that closes it faster. So that's a great thing. I think every you know, they say, that in every, there's Winston Churchill, I think, said that never let a good crisis go to waste. So this is that sort of a crisis that we are all facing. It's better to adapt and change and, just get on with it.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, Devang. I like the way you use the word ceremony. I was thinking of some other ceremony like negotiation ceremony.
No, it used to
Interesting.
take time. We used to have different rounds. I mean, like, so बारात में जैसा होता है ना वैसे होता था कि एक के बाद एक level पे आपका treatment होता था.
Right. It's interesting how all of that is just, kind of shortened. Mannu, parting shots?
Yeah. So I think just to summarize what everyone said, and if I will use the two words, first is the innovate and second is the digitalize. So that is something I think we need to work on. And what I will suggest for the SMEs, we have certain core competency. We have very different vertical segment to deal with, and we know that market very well, that segment very well, and we need to work on that. We need a quality, I think, technology partner who knows the technologies very well and who can manage this end to end. And any which way they have the experience and roles and responsibility of managing such kind of large customer base. And my that friend is like, let's concentrate on our core competency and technology part that we can give to somebody who knows this business very well, who can innovate, who can digitalize, and who can support you. As I said earlier also, like all these that even Devang talked about the chatbot, we were selling since long time. But what happened? The SMEs, they started adopting now. And now we are doing the innovation on that part, and we are trying to find out how we can even minimize that. The one more example is the cloud telephony. You know that you don't have need to go to call center to do your job. While sitting at home, you can do this. And as a technology partner, all these things are ready with us. So therefore, my suggestion is let's innovate, let's digitalize, and let's have the even relationship with the technology partner who is branded, who can manage this end to end, who is having experience in this market, and who is the thought leadership.
Sure. Thank you, Manu. And you've been at the forefront of this revolution. Thank you for that. Gentlemen, we've had an amazing discussion. I think we need to give ourselves a round of applause. Truly insightful discussion. I'm sure a lot of SMBs are confused about this technology challenge. And if they just happen to watch the recording of this session, I'm sure the answers are straightforward. I think every speaker has emphasized on the importance of jumping onto the technology bandwagon, the apprehensions which they face, which all of you have rightly pointed out. I would love to meet each one of you in Ahmedabad over a cup of chai, which Hyuma is having, which I'm sure he will share with all of us. Thank you so much. Have a great day ahead.